Hi, I hope you're well. So, if you're new here to the channel, you're very, very welcome. Please do subscribe, it all helps, it really helps us, so thank you. I channel messages from a team of galactic beings. I do take them down, I do automatic writing, and then I'll relay those to you. And then at the end I go into light language codes to assist us specifically with the theme that we've been discussing. Okay, right. So the theme today is multi-dimensionality, our multi-dimensionality, and the human experience that we're having. Okay, and the template of separation and duality, which is part of that human experience. So it said, we came here to have the human experience. We came here to experience material form, to experience our emotions, the mindset of a human, the circumstances such as they are on this planet at the time, and so on. They also mentioned the relationships that human beings have with one another. Yeah. And this includes a template of separation and duality. So the purpose of the experience is to eventually come into an understanding and to go even beyond that and embody who we really are, and to remember who we really are, to realize that we are multidimensional beings and that this human experience is part of that. Okay? And it relates to understanding the oneness of ourselves, and ultimately that concept of oneness shifts, or will shift, from being a concept to being something that we are truly living and experiencing. Okay. So when we come here, of course, we forget about our multidimensionality. We forget that our soul, when it comes forth from source, fragments and has many, many lives in many places, some on other planets and in other galaxies, and some, of course, here on Earth. And that rather than viewing time in a very linear way, which is again part of that template of separation, far from that, time is like a spiral. So we're experiencing all of that at once. Okay, that our soul is experiencing all of those lives at once. So it doesn't mean that those experiences elsewhere are not at play here, if you like, while we're here on this planet. It's simply that we're not aware of their effect, and we're not aware of those. Okay, well, generally speaking, as we shall see. So, as we live our lives and we play in this human perception of duality and separation and that human template of reality, we become more and more aware of the aspect of duality within that. And we see that happening now, don't we, on the planet? It's becoming very acute, the difference between well, we often call it light and dark, don't we? All right. So, and we kind of, along our journey, we reach a point where we really, have a choice. We can continue in the mindset of separation and duality, or we can begin the journey towards oneness. And they described it as the journey towards the center. Okay. So the journey back to the soul, the journey back to the center of who we are. So, getting lost. Yeah. And we begin to, oh yes, we have a choice, sorry, as to whether we start to remember those various soul fragments and those various soul lives that have originated from that central point, from source. And they said, duality exists outside of source. There is no duality within source. Okay. There is only oneness and integration of all that we are, and all aspects of our lives are realized and remembered and brought back into one as we get closer to that source energy. So this is the journey that brings us back to source, essentially, and hence the embodiment of our divinity as well, our oneness of self, our wholeness, and of course as well our oneness of all that is. But they said, you know, for a long time, even those that have been on their sort of spiritual journey, if you like, have very much focused on the oneness of ourselves with all that is. So our awareness that, you know, we are at one, for instance, with the planet, we are at one with creation, with the trees, with animals, with one another. Okay, so we're focused perhaps on the community impact of that knowledge. And they said the time is now when we need to actually focus on the oneness of the soul, of the self, and get back into the center of the soul. Okay, so bringing it into oneness and integrating all aspects of our soul. So, you know, why aren't we doing this already? Why aren't we doing this all the time? And they said, well, you know, what gets in the way are all those things that keep us in the template of duality. So the mindset we mentioned, the emotions, the experiences, the circumstances within the human template of reality, that template of separation, those are the things that keep us from embodying that, and well, first of all realizing it and then embodying it. So, you know, what are we talking about really? We're talking about the wounds and the lessons, you know, whether we're talking about ancestral or karmic, that are actually when those are cleared, then we are able to raise our vibration and perceive reality. It's a bit like they showed me like being in a fog. You know, if you're driving and you're in a fog and you can't see what's in front of you, you know, you need that fog to clear, and then you can see straight ahead and you can see the way forward. Okay, so they said it's a bit like that. So while we have these wounds and these lessons that we're going through, then that does keep us, sort of pin us in that reality, or you know, acts like that kind of fog in front of us, so that we don't perceive reality outside of that duality and separation, you know. And they said, you know, there's no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts. So on a practical level, we will keep having the same experiences and attracting the same circumstances, the same relationships, etc., until we learn those lessons and come to accept and release the wounds that we carry. And they said that all of those, you know, those lessons and the wounds that we have are actually quite powerful when we do acknowledge them, understand them, and then release that energy, because they do bring us closer to ourselves and that oneness. So rather than thinking of them as kind of using the word chore, rather than viewing them as kind of like a chore, you know, actually view them as something very useful. Because what they show us is everything that we're not, everything that isn't of the highest frequency, the pure frequency of divinity, which is love. And they also show us what we need to let go of course. You know, when we have experiences, or we have relationships, circumstances that are trying to teach us something, you know, they very clearly show us where there is work to do. And then as we do that work, and we're all doing that work at one level or another, our vibration will rise higher, okay? So we will begin to attract into our lives things that are, well, new experiences, new circumstances, new kinds of relationship, and our mindset will shift into that of our higher self, if you like, into our soul connection. All right. So the new experiences, they may very well be more, other lessons, new lessons, and reveal further areas, pockets of healing for us to do. Or it may be that they will reveal new understandings, such as when we do come into an awareness of other lives that we live and so on. We gain greater understanding, we recall knowledge. We reconnect with those other parts of our soul that are living elsewhere, and we begin to realize, or release, that was the word, we begin to release the grip that our mind has on us, or the grip of that template, and the effect that has on our mind. We begin to release that and live more through our heart. Okay. So, and they said, the key to doing the work is that we do it within. So the outside, the external to us, will show us where we need to do that work, and where we are on our journey with that. And it will reflect where we are in terms of our duality mindset and where our vibration is. Okay. And then it will kind of point us in the direction of, that requires your attention. That's not working so well for you, is it? Might need to just look into that. So yeah, but they said that's all the external can do for you. Everything is internal, everything. And they said part of the duality mindset again, and part of the mindset of separation, that template, is that we so often focus on the external instead of what is going on with us. And they said, the classic example of that is we do it very often in relationships, don't we? So, everything becomes about what the other person's doing and what they're being like. And they said, actually, the purpose of the whole scenario is to help you, to look into you and say, well, what's going on with me? Yeah? Okay. So, let's see where we've got to. Yeah, and they said, as we do lift our vibration by doing this work, not only do we come into remembering and connecting with our soul, but also that new vibration, our raised vibration, will begin to radiate out, and so we're then attracting new realities, if you like. What was it they said? And what we that in turn radiates out in our frequency and what we resonate with, and then we draw into our reality things of a higher vibration. Yeah. And they said, and so the journey continues. Okay. Right, so they did actually talk to me a little bit about doing the inner work as well, but they wanted that to be a separate video. How do we go about doing the inner work? What are we talking about when we're, what we're looking at when we're looking at ancestral healing, or karmic bonds, or soul contracts, and all of this. What does that look like, and how do we actually do it? But first of all, they just wanted to cover what the purpose of all of this work actually is. Okay, so just to be clear, they've been talking about, it's all about bringing us back into an awareness of who we really are, that we are multi-dimensional. Our soul is multi-dimensional, and that ultimately we all originate from source energy. Then there is no duality within source energy. Okay, so yeah, so they're just showing me a dartboard. Okay, right, and so in the center they're saying, you have like the bullseye. Okay, so that center is our the center of our soul. Okay, our point of origin. Okay, and around it we have all of these various experiences, lives, fragments of our soul, okay? And we're kind of working our way in back to wholeness, back to integrating in the center. Okay, all right. And just saying, there's never been a better time to do this because because we are supported more and more by the planet herself. Also that everything is speeding up. So we are able to heal, provided we do put in the work. We are able to heal very quickly. And also some of the energetic grids that have made the process of remembering and getting in touch with our soul center quite difficult in the past have now been removed. So we're living in a time where some will do this work and some will not. They will choose to remain within the template of separation and duality. Either way, you all have other lives that you live. But as the collective raises as you as a collective raise your frequency, and of course the earth also, those that do not wish to do the work and make changes, evolve their consciousness, and all of what we have discussed today, they will no longer wish to be on this planet. You are on a one-way street as a collective. Right, so they'll begin channeling light language codes. They haven't actually told me what they're going to be about today, so I'm just going to ask. Clarity of purpose. And they want to work on the third eye. So that we can expand our awareness wherever we are on that path, whether it is awareness of the work we need to do, or whether it is awareness of our other lives, and the fullness of our soul, the oneness. Okay, all right. Right, a lot to say today. Right, I'll go into channeling the codes then. So you don't need to do anything, just simply set your intention to receive and to relax. I've always cleared this energetic space beforehand, before I come on and record, okay? And I do so again afterwards. So rest assured about that. This is a very spiritually hygienic place, very safe place. Good. So yeah, just relax, set your intention to receive, that's it. Ila haya la haya la haya la hoya se. Ese akuya na mahana haya na haya hiyana. Ese haya na hiyana. Ele se que akuya na meshia que ya te ya turshirte kintia la se que te gala se que ta chata dara. Ese le que akuya na mahia na se ya se ya. Ese aka. Hua. Ese akushushi ya kana ya sari atala. Shak ya se ya que ya tara. Shak se ya que ya te yara. Shak se ya que tara. Shak se ya que tariata. Shak se ya que tariata. Shak se ya que tariata. Ese akuya mahal. Ese que te haste que enteriasto y atunkunti ya marayata y haste que enteriata este ya tara. Ese que te. Él ese que tara. Este ya nara. Tikitikaria, so tikitarakin, tingitarea, tikitaka, tikitria, so tikitikaria, tikitara. Tikitikaria, so tikitakaria, patakatikata. Tikitakaria, 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 takatara. Esikitakaria, tikitakaria, tikitakaria, tikitakaria. Esikita, di ataria. Etikata, dariasa, etikata, itikata, etikataria, takata. Etiketa, sekatikaria, makaya, takiti, etikataria, sekatariata. Etikata, aria, sukatikaria. Thank you. Emea huyamaya na yatiala. Ele se que anda hayana yana yashai. Ele se que hayana yana yaro. Ele se que ele se que hatiana yasha. Ele que amana yana yanasha. Ele se akario no. Ele se que no ni ashiatala. Ese que anahala tesh. Ele se tesh. Ele se tesh. Ele se tesh. Shea koyanama ele teatara. Thank you. Good. All right. Right, so take care everybody, and I think I'm probably going to be back in the not too distant future with the follow-up video. Okay, lots of love. Bye.